Hello Bama fans! Will Nick Saban's latest QB draft win this QB race? Let's get the scoop, but first subscribe to the channel to get more Bama news. Hello, Bama fans! The atmosphere in Tuscaloosa is electric, and the news coming out of the Alabama Crimson Tide camp is getting people talking. Today, we're going to dive deep into the race everyone is watching. Who will lead the offense in 2025? And look, the name that's been buzzing loudly is Ty Simpson, the last quarterback drafted by the legendary Nick Saban before his departure. Let's break down this story, because Bama's future is taking shape, and Crimson Tide Nation has reason to be excited. Ty Simpson is no ordinary rookie. He arrived at Alabama as a five-star prospect straight out of Martin, Tennessee, carrying the weight of a talent that Nick Saban saw as special. And now, with the Kalen DeBoer era in full swing, it appears Simpson's wait may be over. Brad Crawford of 247 Sports made it clear that Simpson is the favorite to take over the QB1 role in the fast-paced, dynamic offense of Ryan Grubb, the new offensive coordinator who joined DeBoer from Washington. And it's not hard to see why. Simpson brings experience to the field. He spent the last few seasons as a backup, learning, observing and preparing on the sidelines while Jalen Milroe shined. Now, with Milroe headed to the NFL draft, the path is clear, and Ty has the stage. But don't think this race is won on narrative alone. Simpson has some serious competition. Austin Mack, who came from Washington with DeBoer, is familiar with Grubb's system and could be a great asset. Then there's Keelan Russell, the five-star freshman who's already turning heads as one of the SEC's most promising early recruits. DeBoer has made it clear he's not going to play favorites too early. He wants to see all three in action in spring practice, which begins in a few weeks. "We're not going to waste any reps," the coach told Bama 247, stressing that everyone will have an equal chance to show their worth. Still, Crawford is banking on Simpson, and the logic makes sense. He's the veteran, the guy who knows the program, who's worn an Alabama uniform before, and who's ready to take the next step. What makes this transition even more exciting is the style that Ryan Grubb brings to Alabama's offense. If you thought the Crimson Tide was already explosive, get ready for something even more intense. Grubb is known for his fast-paced, pre-snap scheme, with creative formations that confuse defenses and open up big plays. In Washington, he turned the Huskies into a third-down conversion machine, a nationally leading 56.8% success rate in 2022, and developed talent like Rome Odunze, who ended up as a first-round draft pick. This is the kind of offense Alabama fans dream of seeing: a quarterback who moves the ball at a steady pace, wide receivers who exploit holes in the secondary, and a passing game that makes Bryant-Denny Stadium explode with every long pass. And Ty Simpson, with his strong arm and experience in the Bama system, seems like the perfect fit to make it happen. Of course, the road to this point hasn't been easy for Simpson. Colin Gay of the Tuscaloosa News summed it up best: his journey at Alabama has been anything but simple. He's been a backup to two different quarterbacks, worked under three offensive coordinators, three quarterback coaches and two head coaches, one of whom, Saban, probably thought Simpson would stay forever. But the kid has stuck it out. He sat on the bench, soaked it all in, and waited his turn. Now, with Milroe out of the way, August 30th against Florida State could mark the beginning of Simpson's era as the Crimson Tide's snapper. Gay is also banking on him as the QB1 this fall, and fans are starting to feel that shiver in their stomachs that something big is coming. But not everything is guaranteed. The spring A-Day game, scheduled for April 12th, will be the big test. Simpson may have the narrative in his favor now, but he needs to show up on the field, show precision, leadership and that fire that Alabama fans love to see. Crimson Tide Nation is passionate, but also demanding. If he falters, there are already people watching the transfer portal, asking for a new QB in April. And let's face it, Alabama has a tradition of going after what it wants, as long as the budget allows. But looking at Ty Simpson, you get the sense that he's not going to let this opportunity slip away. He was molded by Saban, matured by time, and now has the opportunity to lead an offense tailored to him. So, Bama fans, what do you think? Is Ty Simpson the name to carry Alabama in 2025? The Alabama Crimson Tide's future in the 2026 recruiting class already has a big name, Zion Gibson. The young four-star cornerback from Gadsden, Alabama, has not only demonstrated his commitment to Kalen DeBoer's program, but he's also making his mark on the state's basketball scene. Now, he has the chance to make history by helping the Gadsden City Titans earn their first-ever state championship game. Gibson's trajectory is a reflection of what Alabama looks for in its players: athletic talent, competitiveness, and a winning mentality. At the end of 2024, he showed that he likes a big moment by making a bold announcement at his commitment ceremony. First, he donned a Tennessee Volunteers cap, creating suspense among those in attendance, and then swapped it for the Tide's iconic crimson and white, confirming his decision. It was a symbolic gesture, but one that shows his personality, someone who understands the greatness of Alabama and wants to be a part of that tradition. His numbers and impact on the field were already well known, but his basketball skills further underscore his value as a well-rounded athlete. Gibson isn't just a top-notch football player, he's a natural competitor. This season, he helped the Gadsden City Titans to a solid 16-10 regular season record, and now the team is in the midst of an impressive postseason run. A dramatic 54-52 victory over the Oxford Yellow Jackets in the quarterfinals only underscores Gibson's ability to perform under pressure and deliver in the crunch moments. Now, Gadsden City is one step away from a state championship game, and their next challenge will be against the Paul W. Bryant Stampede. It promises to be an intense game, with Gibson playing a key role in the quest to win the title. He knows that no matter the sport, winning at a high level requires discipline and dedication, exactly what Alabama wants in its future athletes. And if he's already making history before he even steps foot in Tuscaloosa, just imagine the impact he could have when he finally puts on a Tide jersey. Let's get going! The battle for Alabama's offensive leadership is officially open, and Crimson Tide fans have already started making their predictions even before spring training began. A poll conducted by Touchdown Alabama provided an interesting sample of what fans think about the future of the team's most important position under Kalen DeBoer. And, if it's up to popular opinion, the favorite to lead the Tide's offense in 2025 is Ty Simpson. With 60.5% of the votes, he appears to be the most reliable option to take over the starting position. But will this perception be confirmed on the field? The scenario is clear: Simpson, the most experienced quarterback on the roster, has the advantage of experience and time in the system. His familiarity with the competitive environment of the SEC, his experience with the challenges of the position, and his patience in waiting for his chance make him the natural candidate to take over the position. However, those who follow the Crimson Tide closely know that nothing is guaranteed when it comes to the fight for the starting QB position. Keelan Russell is right behind in fan preference, with 30.4% of the vote. That's a significant number, considering he still has to prove himself at the college level. His presence in the poll shows that fans are aware of his potential and the possibility of him surprising in spring training. And, of course, we can't rule out Austin Mack, who received 9.1% of the vote and could use this competition to gain a spot on the roster. With spring training starting next month, the anticipation is only growing. This period will be crucial in defining not only the starting quarterback, but also the identity of the offense under DeBoer. He arrives with the mission of keeping Alabama on top, and choosing the right quarterback will be one of the first big tests of his time in Tuscaloosa. The spring game, scheduled for April 12th, will be a valuable opportunity for fans to see how this battle evolves. And if there's one thing Alabama has always had, it's a history of quarterbacks ready to shine when the opportunity presents itself. Whether it's Simpson, Russell, or Mack, the Tide's next offensive leader will have the responsibility of continuing the program's winning tradition and showing that, even with changes in coaching, excellence remains the standard in Tuscaloosa. The question that echoes in the minds of many college basketball fans is inevitable: can anyone beat this version of Alabama? Mississippi State coach Chris Yance struggled to find the right words to describe what he saw on the field at Coleman Coliseum. His answer was simple and straightforward: they were really good. But the depth of his analysis reveals something more significant. He wasn't just acknowledging a blowout 111-73 victory, he was acknowledging that Alabama has something special, something that puts them above most teams in the country. What we saw that night was more than impressive scoring numbers or an explosive offensive performance. It was a demonstration of how unstoppable Alabama can be when it plays at full intensity on both ends of the floor. The defense, which has been questioned so often throughout the season, came out swinging in the first half. The Mississippi State Bulldogs, a ranked team, could barely breathe under the Crimson Tide's suffocating pressure. Allowing just 27 points in the first half and scoring elite numbers like .750 points per possession, Alabama showed that when it wants to, it can dictate the pace of a game with its defense. This version of Alabama that many have been waiting to see since the beginning of the season finally showed up. It wasn't just a matter of individual talent shining through here and there, but rather the team working like a well-oiled machine. The defense started strong, and the offense, already known as one of the best in the country, did the rest. They made 22 three-pointers, an impressive record that made it clear that this team can explode against any opponent on any given night. And that's not even mentioning the names that are increasingly standing out. Chris Youngblood, for example, is proving to be a lethal weapon in catch-and-shoot mode. Against Mississippi State, he hit 7 three-pointers and scored 27 points. It's the kind of performance that can change the course of a game and intimidate any defense. And then there's Mark Sears, whose evolution in recent weeks has been remarkable. After tactical adjustments made by coach Nate Oates, Sears began playing with more creators by his side, which made him even more effective. In the game against the Bulldogs, he scored 21 points, distributed 10 assists and showed that he is at a high level of confidence. In the last 3 games, his numbers are absurd: 86 points, 42% success on three-pointers and an impressive ability to lead the team on both offense and defense. What is most striking is how Alabama manages to balance its strengths. When the defense fails, the offense compensates. When the offense is not so sharp, the defense takes over. And when both work in harmony, as happened against Mississippi State, the result is devastating. Even in the second half, when the Crimson Tide relaxed a little and allowed more points to the Bulldogs, it was already too late. The advantage built in the first half was so big that the game was decided even before halftime. Nate Oates, always measured in his statements, did not hide his pride in what his team presented. He highlighted Sears' improvement, especially defensively, and noted that the team is starting to play its best basketball of the season. That's important because, as everyone knows, the time to peak is now, with the playoffs approaching. Alabama has all the tools to be a big favorite for the Final Four, and performances like this only reinforce that idea. But what really sets this version of Alabama apart? Maybe it's the ability to adjust and adapt. For much of the season, there were times when the team looked inconsistent, especially on defense. Now, it seems like they've found the magic formula. Players like Aiden Holloway and LeBaron Philon are helping create opportunities for Sears and other shooters, while the defense is starting to show the potential everyone expected from the beginning. Chris Yance, reflecting on the game, made a crucial point: this season of the SEC has perhaps more teams with Final Four potential than any other league in recent history. But even in this context, Alabama stands out. They have an explosive offense, a defense that can surprise, and players who are stepping up at the right time. If the Crimson Tide keeps playing like they did that night against Mississippi State, it will be hard to imagine anyone stopping them. So, we come back to the original question: can anyone beat this version of Alabama? Maybe, but it would take an exceptional team with few mistakes and a lot of courage. Because what we saw at Coleman Coliseum was a team that, when at its best, looks invincible. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.